This is the UE S4 moped style e-bike, and it punches way above its class. This thing's nimble, torquey, with a fair price tag. Compared to some of its competition out there like the Super 73 costing upwards of $5,000 with only a 750 motor, the S4 is currently at $1,400 and gives you a 1000 watt motor as well as a bigger battery. I recently just got back from motorbiking Vietnam and northern Thailand, and I was still fully in adventure mode. So when I first started testing this ride, I thought it was going to be underwhelming. But surprisingly, this thing took me back to when I was riding my CB150. You can really feel the torque and power of this thing. Motorbiking Vietnam and Thailand is by far the best adventure, travel, excursion experience I've ever done. If you're interested in knowing what it was like, some tips and guides of motorbiking Vietnam, make sure to click that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and stay tuned. I'm currently working on that video, but I have about 10 terabytes worth of footage. Other than that, if you're in the market for an e-bike, the S4 is one you should consider. This is a full suspension bike made up of high carbon steel with a double shouldered fork in the front and a 3-system coil shock absorbers in the rear, which makes the ride more comfortable, from urban terrain to light gravel and trails. The front fork also has adjustable preload and compression. The weight of this bike is 76 pounds with a load capacity of 400. The S4 has a 1000 watt rear hub motor that produces 96 nanometers of torque. It has a 1200 watt, 48 volt, 25 amp hour battery that comes with a 2 amp charger that takes about 9 to 10 hours to charge. The posted range is 40 to 75 mile distance, but for my test, only using throttle, the minimum range I got was 33 miles. My range test consisted of only using full throttle at pass level 5 through city streets, gravel and trails during the day and evening with 72 to 90 degree weather. While the minimum distance is below the posted range, it's fairly decent for the motor and battery. I was full cocking the throttle for long periods of time. There are 5 pass levels, and each one has a speed limit. The fastest I got this bike to was 33.1 miles an hour. The S4 comes with Logan hydraulic brakes with 100mm disc brakes. I've logged over 300 miles, and the braking system has done a phenomenal job. They do inspire confidence in braking at any speeds in most terrains I've ridden in. Only thing I've noticed is they started squeaking both front and rear after logging about 50 miles, though they still work great. Make sure to tune up your bike once you get it, then tune it up again once you hit 100 miles, then every 500 miles thereafter. This is the maintenance schedule I stick to, but it depends on how you ride, how frequent you ride, and the conditions you ride in. The derailleur it comes with is the Shimano Tourney. While Shimano is a brand name, the Tourney is the lowest tier in their arsenal. The Tourney isn't that great of a system. I can hardly tell the difference when shifting, so it always remains at 7. The chain is by KMC with an aluminum alloy crankset. The bike has a 20x4 knobby fat tires with wide spoked wheels that give you more flexibility and versatility when riding through dirt and gravel. I'm glad they went with wide spoke wheels instead of alloy. Wide spokes have more flex, allowing your wheels to move when jumping, landing, and riding through rough terrain, compared to alloy wheels which are stiff because they're made out of one piece. Having spoke wheels is a great direction, and just wanted to highlight this because they didn't skip on this part. The saddle is made up of polyurethane fabric. I have yet to come across a stock e-bike seat that's comfortable, including this one. The comfort isn't too bad, but the seat is narrow, so you'll start to get fatigued and uncomfortable quicker compared to a seat on a motorbike that has a bit more support. Overall, it isn't too bad, but it isn't great either. It comes with an Angel Eye LED headlight that's bright, but I would still recommend getting 1 or 2 aftermarket lights. Links in the description if you need some recommendation. It doesn't hurt to be extra visible. At the back of the headlight is your horn. It's louder than your bicycle bell and more annoying to pedestrians, but it does the job in getting attention, especially from cars. The rear lights also act as brake lights. They look standard, but I wish they were bigger. For steering, it comes with an adjustable BMX-style handlebar, with a front wire harness well organized as it should be, unlike some brands where the front harness is individually hanging. On the left side is your mode button, which also acts as your on and off button, up and down arrows to switch pass levels, and your light and horn buttons. On your right side is your index thumb shifter and your half twist throttle. Each side has plastic grips that are surprisingly tight. I've been riding this for about a month now and hasn't loosened one bit. In the center is your display screen, which gives you the speedometer, battery life, pass level, odometer, trip, volt, curb, and time. It has a water resistance rating of IPX4, which is good in the rain for some time, but I still wouldn't recommend riding it. Unless it's 100% waterproof, like motorbikes, I wouldn't recommend it at all, no matter the rating. What's good for is if you get caught by sudden downpour, enough for you to find shelter. A majority of the parts are from Chinese companies that I've never heard of, though the only two that matter are the motor and the battery. Only time will tell what the longevity and lifespan of these parts are, but so far I haven't had any issues. The bike comes 95% complete. All you need to do is unpack, attach the handlebars, the pedals, the headlights, and the front wheel. It's pretty straightforward and comes with instructions. The weaknesses of this bike is the derailleur, kickstand, and the pedal assist sensor. Again, the Shimano Tourney is the lowest tier they offer, and it just doesn't feel great to shift. It's not the worst shifter out there, but it's also not good either. The kickstand is the next drawback. On the first day, it already tore off. I did get a replacement, which took about 4 days to arrive. It's also situated too close to the pedal, which isn't the ideal place to have, as it constantly gets hit by the left pedal when you're backing your bike up when the kickstand is still down. And when the kickstand is up, it does tend to brush against the sidewall of your rear tire. I wish they would have put the kickstand further back on the bike. This would have eliminated these two issues. The worst part about this bike has to be the pedal assist sensor. There's about a 4 to 8 second delay after you start pedaling before the assist kicks in. It's the worst pass sensor I've ever tested thus far. The delay is so bad that it throws you off from pedaling properly, and once you get going, it accelerates too quickly in order to match your pedal. So there's a long delay and a sudden jolt of acceleration, which isn't great for pedaling, but if you're interested in these types of bikes, you aren't looking to pedal. 95 to 100% of the time, you're wanting to use throttle, so it makes sense that they skimped on this part. With that said, it's still the worst part of this bike, which isn't that bad, considering what type of bike it is.
This is how you make me feel. This is how you make me feel.
While I was only able to get 33 miles compared to the minimum range of 40, 33 miles is a fair range for the price. The range could be better, but 33 miles, it's decent, and this is on pass level 5 on full throttle. And lastly, the good things about this bike are the torque, power, speed, suspension, the hydraulic brakes, and the price. It also seemed like they spent the money where it mattered most and skimped on where it mattered least to keep the price down. Though they did cut costs on some components to keep the price down, they did it where it mattered least and spent more where it mattered most, giving you a bike that feels solid and reliable. I feel like I can throw this thing around, down it, and I still feel confident that I can ride it home. The best thing about this bike has got to be the fun factor. This thing is really fun to ride and you feel fully in control from the first time you ride it. So if this is your first e-bike, the S4 is great to build up confidence. I'm about 5'5" to 5'6" and I feel in command of this thing. From motorbiking, I've learned that bigger bikes isn't a handicap or a limit, but a skill set you have to acquire. So if you think you can't ride bigger bikes, whether it's an e-bike or a motorcycle, it's not because you can't, it's because you don't know how to yet. You have to learn and acquire those skills, but it all starts with confidence, and this thing is great for building confidence. So in conclusion, overall, this bike is great whether you're a beginner or a seasoned rider, so make sure to check it out if you're in the market for a new bike. The only people I don't recommend this bike to is for people looking to pedal most of the time. This is not that type of bike or any moped style e-bikes. And if you're interested in getting the S4 and helping the channel out, feel free to use my affiliate link down in the description below or use the discount code House of Intent to get $30 off. I've also included some accessories that I recommend getting, especially if this is your first bike. This about wraps up the video. Keep exploring, stay adventurous, and be cultured, my friends. This is Eddie, and I'm out.